Welcome to our semi-final match of the 2006-2007 Brain Brawl season, featuring teams from Paxson High School and Mandarin High School. Let's meet the teams. First from Mandarin, we have Micah Lewis, Lindsay Sweeterman, the captain is Lewis Richmond, and Colin Watson. For Paxson is Jane Nguyen, Charlie Cianteo, the captain is Alex Quito, and Alex Chern. Mandarin's team is coached by Andy Scudder. Paxson's team is coached by Elizabeth Allen and Sonia Edwards. Good luck, teams. Here's your first toss-up. What name is given to the liquid, non-cellular part of the blood? James.
Plasma.
Yes. The bonus is 2 points each, or 10 points for all four. Identify the nation ruled by each of the following rulers. Number 1, Franz Joseph. 2, Catherine II. 3, Victor Emmanuel. And 4, Isabella II. For 2 points each, or 10 points for all four, identify the nation ruled by each of the following rulers. 1, Franz Joseph. 2, Catherine II. 3, Victor Emmanuel. And 4, Isabella II.
1, Austria. 2, Russia. 3, Italy. 4, Spain.
Judge?
Yeah.
Yes. 10 points. Toss up. Pencils. Find a two-digit number such that the tens digit is one less than the ones digit, and the sum of the two digits is 17. Lewis.
98.
No. Paxson. Charles.
89.
89 is correct. The bonus is 2 points each, or 10 points for all four. Name the authors who created these characters. Number 1, Dr. Watson. 2, Marlowe the Sea Captain. 3, Leopold Bloom. And 4, Phileas Fogg. For 2 points each, or 10 points for all four, name the authors who created these characters. Number 1, Dr. Watson. 2, Marlowe the Sea Captain. 3, Leopold Bloom. And 4, Phileas Fogg.
1, Conan Doyle. 2, Conrad. 3 and 4, Mark Twain.
1 and 2, Judge, are correct. Mandarin, 3 and 4?
3, Joyce. 4, Verne.
That's correct. 4 points each way. Identify the poet who wrote these lines. The soul selects her own society. Lindsay?
Emily Dickinson.
Yes. The bonus is 2 points each, or 10 points for all four. Answer the following questions about sets of numbers. 1, what is the union of the natural number and 0? 2, what is the union of the irrational and the rational numbers? 3, what is the intersection of the integers and the whole numbers? And 4, what is the intersection of the rational and irrational numbers? For 2 points each, or 10 points for all four, answer the following questions about sets of numbers. Number 1, what is the union of the natural number and 0? 2, what is the union of the irrational and the rational numbers? 3, what is the intersection of the integers and the whole numbers? And 4, what is the intersection of the rational and irrational numbers?
One, whole. 2, complex. 3, whole numbers. 4, irrational.
1 and 3 are correct. Paxson, 2 and 4.
2, null set. 4, complex.
No, 2 is the real numbers. 4 is the null set. So we have 2 correct for Mandarin for 4 points. In ancient Egypt, who kept records and controlled the Colin?
Scribes.
Yes. The bonus is 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Identify the following elements which have Greek roots in their names. Number 1, it was named for the Greek personification of the sun. And number 2, it was named for the Greek god who brought fire to man. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, identify the following elements which have Greek roots in their names. Number 1, it was named for the Greek personification of the sun. And 2, it was named for the Greek god who brought fire to man.
Are you sure? No, this is 1.
Yeah, this is 1.
1, helium. 2, gold.
Helium is correct. Gold is not. Paxson.
2, Promethium.
That's it. 4 points each way. Toss-up. Name the man who was born in 1888 and whose real name was Israel Balin. He wrote typically American musicals such as Annie Get Your Gun and typically American songs such as Blue Skies and White Christmas. Lewis.
Bernstein.
No. Paxson. Irving Berlin. Toss-up. What carbohydrate accounts for 50% or more of all the carbon in plants? Alex?
Glucose.
No. Mandarin. Colin?
Sucrose.
Cellulose. Pencils. What is the degree of the polynomial 3xy squared minus 6x cubed y plus 9xy? Lewis?
4.
Yes. The bonus is 4 points each, or 10 points for both. The ancient Egyptians used 3 types of writing systems. Name any 2. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, the ancient Egyptian used 3 types of writing systems. Name any 2.
Hieroglyphics and cuneiform.
No, I'll take the first one, but not the second. Paxson? No, either Hieratic or Demetic. But we have one correct for Mandarin for 4 points. Toss up. Give the number of the crusade, which was the only one to be considered a military success. Colin? No. Paxson? Alex?
Second one.
First. Toss up. Which organelle of eukaryotic cells is bounded by a double-layered membrane? Charlie?
Nucleus.
Yes. The bonus is 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Listen to the following lines from a Shakespearean play and then state first who said it, and second about whom it was said. When he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, listen to the following lines from a Shakespearean play, and then state first who said it, and second about whom it was said. When he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night.
Said by Brutus about Caesar.
No. Mandarin.
1 Juliet, 2 Romeo.
That's correct, 10 points. Toss up. With what period in art do we associate Titian, one of the great artists? Charlie.
Renaissance.
Yes. The bonus is worth 10 points. Find all values of x so that the distance from the point 2, -1 to the point x, 2 is 5. For 10 points, find all values of x so that the distance from the point 2, -1 to the point x, 2 is 5. Sorry, time's up. Mandarin.
2 or 6.
No, -2 or 6. We needed them both. No points. Toss up. On New Year's Eve in 1800, a Sicilian monk named Giuseppe Piazzi discovered what he thought was a comet between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. He actually had discovered the largest asteroid. Name it. Alex.
Ceres.
That's it. The bonus is worth 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Tissues consist of closely associated cells that adapt to carry out specific functions. Name the 4 classifications of animal tissue. For 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Tissues consist of closely associated cells that adapt to carry out specific functions. Name the 4 classifications of animal tissue.
Smooth, nerve, muscle, and cardiac.
Judge?
Say that again. Smooth, nerve, muscle, cardiac.
Muscle.
We'll take muscle. Mandarin.
Skeletal. Nervous and connective.
Nervous and connective. The other one is epithelial. So we have 1 correct, 2 points Paxson, and 4 points Mandarin. Pencils. If g of x equals 2x divided by the quantity x minus 1, find g of minus 1. Alex.
1.
1 is correct. The bonus is 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Identify the country in which each of the following Gothic cathedrals is found. Number 1, Reims. 2, Salisbury. 3, Siena. 4, Chartres. For 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4, identify the country in which each of the following Gothic cathedrals is found. 1, Reims. 2, Salisbury. 3, Siena. And 4, Chartres.
France, England, Austria, France.
I'll take 1, 2, and 4, but not the third one, Mandarin.
Italy.
Italy is correct. 6 points, Paxson, 2 points, Mandarin. And that's the end of round 1. Before we check the scores, let's meet the team players from Mandarin High School. And we'll start with Micah Lewis. Mike is a junior, member of Latin Club, student council senator, co-founder of Young Activists. He'd like to go to law school at the University of Florida. Lindsay Sweeterman is a senior, member of student council, NHS. She's already been accepted at the University of Florida, where she will be studying pre-med, and she's a member of the Duval All-County team. The captain is Lewis Richmond, who's a senior, member of the National Honor Society and the Cultural Cuisine Club. He'd like to study math or science at either the University of Florida or University of North Carolina. Finally, Colin Watson is a senior, member of NHS and the Cultural Cuisine Club. He'd like to study computer science at the University of Hawaii. Those are the team players from Mandarin High School. Let's take a look at the score after this.
I'm Ralph Churchwell, a producer, musician. I've worked with everyone from Lenny Kravitz to Barry Manilow to Babyface. Douglas Anderson prepared me for my future by giving me, more than anything else, focus. I was kind of all over the place as a kid, wanted to do this, wanted to do that, and the teachers here at Douglas Anderson pretty much gave me my focus to focus on one thing. Here's the goal, go after it. And henceforth went forth to Los Angeles and doing what I'm doing now.
I came to use the United Way through the guidance counselor at Inglewood High School. I was having some issues with Denise.
My grades were slipping and I started cutting class because of lack of interest. I just really didn't care about anything.
I truly believe had she stayed on the path that she was on and we just tried to push it up underneath the rug, that there could have been some real detrimental effects from that.
I appreciate United Way very much because of the fact that if I hadn't gotten help a year ago, I have no idea actually where I would be now, what I'd be doing, what kind of trouble I'd be into, and who knows if I would graduate this year if it wasn't for my counselor and the right direction she pointed me into.
The United Way has been tremendous, and they haven't steered us wrong. We've just been right on the right track ever since.
Mandarin has 44 points, Paxson has 50 points. Both teams have elected a substitute. Joining Mandarin's team is Matthew Glassman, and joining Paxson's team is Adams McCrae. In round 2, the rules remain the same, so let's continue. What scientific instrument is used to determine the relative masses of atoms by the deflection of their ions in a magnetic field? Alex?
Mass spectrometer.
That's it. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. State the name of the Asian country in which each of the following cities can be found. Number 1, Dhaka. Number 2, Ulaanbaatar. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, state the name of the Asian country in which each of the following cities can be found. Number 1, Dhaka, and number 2, Ulaanbaatar.
Indonesia for both.
No for both. Mandarin.
India for both.
Bangladesh for the first, Mongolia for the second. Who wrote a treatise on the origin and ends of government entitled Leviathan? Lindsay?
Hobbes.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Identify the following classical Greek playwrights. Number 1, called one of the greatest tragic dramatists of all time, this playwright introduced a third character to tragedy. Number 2, this author of comedies was the first to combine thoughtful social criticism with light entertainment. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, identify the following classical Greek playwrights. Number 1, called one of the greatest tragic dramatists of all time, this playwright introduced a third character to tragedy. Number 2, this author of comedies was the first to combine thoughtful social criticism with light entertainment.
1, Aeschylus, 2, Aristophanes.
I'll take the second one, not the first. Paxson.
Sophocles for 1.
Sophocles is the other one. 4 points each way. Which English king was beheaded in 1649? Lewis?
Charles I.
Yes. The bonus is worth 10 points. What is the volume in terms of pi of a sphere with radius 6 feet? For 10 points, what is the volume in terms of pi of a sphere with radius 6 feet?
$288 pi.
That is correct. Toss up. Pencils. What is the slope of any line perpendicular to the line containing the points -2, -5 and 6, -9? Colin.
-4/7.
No. Paxson. Alex.
7/4.
2. Toss up. Identify the author of such works as The True-Born Englishman and Robinson Crusoe. Lindsay.
Daniel Defoe.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Answer the following questions about forces that exist between molecules. Number 1, what do we call the attractive force between two polar molecules? Number 2, what's the general name applied to forces between molecules? For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, answer the following questions about forces that exist between molecules. Number 1, what do we call the attractive force between two polar molecules? And number 2, what's the general term applied to forces between molecules?
What's forward? Electron.
1, electronegativity. 2, London force.
No to both. Paxson.
1, dipole moment. 2, intermolecular forces.
1, yes.
1 is correct. The second is van der Waals forces or cohesive forces. But that's 1 correct for Paxson for 4 points. In musical composition, what does the instruction da capo mean?
From the top.
Judge?
Yes.
Yes. The bonus is 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Name the country in which each of the following composers was born. Number 1, Frédéric Chopin. Number 2, Béla Bartók. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, name the country in which each of the following composers was born. 1, Frédéric Chopin. 2, Béla Bartók.
Poland, Romania.
Poland is correct. Romania is not. Mandarin.
Italy.
Hungary. 1 correct for Paxson, 4 points. Toss up. An electron having a negative spin would be traveling in which direction? Alex?
Counterclockwise.
Yes. The bonus is 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Name the 2 Arabian cities involved in Muhammad's Hijra. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both, name the 2 Arabian cities involved in Muhammad's Hijra.
Mecca, Istanbul.
Mecca is correct. Mandarin.
Medina.
That's the other one. 4 points each way. Pencils. If the radius of a circle is 4, find the area of a sector whose central angle is 72 degrees. Time's up. 16 pi over 5, or 16/5 pi. The Oracle at Delphi could be found at the foot of what Greek mountain? Colin.
Olympus.
Repeat.
Olympus.
No, and that's a 2-point penalty. I'll repeat for Paxson. The Oracle at Delphi could be found at the foot of what Greek mountain? Alex?
Mount Ida.
Mount Parnassus. Name the American president who has become associated with the Trail of Tears. Lindsay?
Andrew Jackson.
Yes. The bonus is 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Who wrote these works of literature? Number 1, The Red and the Black. 2, The Mask of the Red Death. 3, The Thin Red Line. And 4, The Red Pony. For 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Who wrote these works of literature? The Red and the Black, The Mask of the Red Death, The Thin Red Line, and The Red Pony.
2, Poe. 4, Steinbeck.
Any guess?
1 and 3, Scott.
2 and 4 are correct. 1 and 3 are not. Paxson.
1, Mark Twain. 2, 3, Tom Clancy.
Stendhal for number 1, James Jones for number 3, but Mandarin does have 2 correct for 4 points. Where on the Earth is the ozone layer almost completely depleted? Alex? Yes. The bonus is worth 10 points. If the circumference of a circle is 44 feet, I'm sorry, the circumference of a circle is 44 feet. If the diameter is reduced by half, what will be the area of the new circle? For 10 points, the circumference of a circle is 44 feet. If the diameter is reduced by half, what will be the area of the new circle?
Go. 121.
No, that's incorrect. Mandarin.
11.
121 over pi square feet. No points. Pencils. The areas of two similar triangles are 81 and 225. The first triangle has an altitude of 12. What is the altitude of the second triangle? Colin.
36.
No. Paxson. 20. Who is the author of the novel that contains the sentence, Ivan Ilyitch's life had been most simple and most ordinary and therefore most terrible? Lindsay?
Dostoevsky?
No. Paxson? Alex?
Solzhenitsyn.
Tolstoy. Who was the leader of the Puritan colony of Massachusetts Bay from its founding to 1649? Matthew?
Winthrop?
Yes. The bonus is 2 points each or 10 points for all four. Match each of the following artists with the century in which he worked. The artists will be lettered, the centuries will be numbered. The artists are A, Sir Joshua Reynolds, B, Marc Chagall, C, Peter Bruegel, the Elder, and D, Eugene Delacroix. The centuries are 1, 19th, 2, 20th, 3, 18th, and 4, 16th. For 2 points each or 10 points for all four, match each of the following artists with the century in which he worked. The artists will be lettered and the centuries will be numbered. The artists are A, Sir Joshua Reynolds, B, Marc Chagall, C, Peter Bruegel the Elder, D, Eugene Delacroix. The centuries are 1, the 19th, 2, the 20th, 3, the 18th, and 4, the 16th.
All right, so we have 2, 3, 4, 1.
The last two are correct. Yes. The first two are not correct. Paxson. Time's up. That's actually, it would be 3, 2, 4, 1 would have been the order of the answers, but that's two correct for Mandarin for 4 points. That's the end of the second round. Before we check the scores, let's meet the team players from Paxson. We're going to start with Adams McCrae. Adams is a senior, member of Drama Club, Thespians, National Honor Society. He's a Bosch intern, member of Film Club and Art Club. He would like to study biochemistry and is going to be going to New College. Charlie Ciantio is a senior. He's in Great Decisions in the Classics Club, Art Club. He's an IB student. He's planning on studying plastic surgery, and he has already been accepted at the University of Florida. Alex Quito is a senior, and he's going to go into medicine. And Alex Chern is a senior. He's a member of Nu Alpha Theta Latin Club. He's a violinist with the Jacksonville Symphony Youth Orchestra. He's already been accepted at Yale, where he will be studying pre-medicine. And those are the team players from Paxson. Let's take a look at the score after this.
I'm Eric Jackson. I'm a studio musician, record producer, and songwriter. I've worked with everyone from Babyface to Dreamgirls to LeAnn Rimes to P. Diddy to Tupac to Paul McCartney to Seal. Douglas Anderson gave me the opportunity to actually pursue music where it was cool, where you had a community of students who were all after the same thing. And I can honestly say if it weren't for Douglas Anderson, I wouldn't be a professional musician today.
Mandarin has 90 points, Paxson has 84 points. Both teams have elected to substitute. Joining Mandarin is Andrew Hall, and joining Paxson is Will Stone. The lightning round, a series of toss-up questions worth 4 points if you get it right, 4 points for the other team if you get it wrong. 2 minutes or 25 questions, whichever comes first. What is the identity element in multiplication? Alex.
1.
Yes. What is a belief in one God called? Colin.
Monotheism.
Yes. Name the author of the novel Jaws. Lindsay. Benchley. What is the name of the organelle containing enzymes involved in the breakdown of cells?
Lysosomes.
Charles. Yes. What is the mean proportional between 16 and 24? After the death of the last Tudor, James I succeeded to the throne of England and began what dynasty? Charles.
Stuart.
Yes. Who wrote A Separate Peace? Lindsay.
John Knowles.
Yes. What do we call a spherical-shaped bacterium? Coccus. What is the sum of two angles that are complementary? Lewis. Yes. Name the American Revolutionary War general known as the Swamp Fox. Lewis.
Lafayette.
Francis Marion. Name the author of Red Storm Rising. Andrew.
Tom Clancy.
Yes. On what unit of electricity are our electric bills based? Alex.
Watt hours.
Judge.
Kilowatt hours.
Yes. If an angle formed by a tangent and a chord equals 80 degrees, how many degrees are contained in the intercepted arc? 160. Who was the first president to be impeached? William.
Richard Nixon.
No. Andrew Johnson. Who wrote a Journal of the Plaque Years? Lindsay.
Daniel Defoe.
Yes. The smallest part of a coving. That's the end of the lightning round. Let's take a look at our final score. Mandarin finishes with 114 points. Paxson finishes with 108 points. So the winner of this match is Mandarin High School. In Brain Brawl competition, the team stays in till it's lost twice. So Mandarin's going to move on to the championship match against Stanton. We have to say goodbye to Paxson as they finish third in this year's tournament. Join us next time for that championship match. In the meantime, I'm Tom Welsh. Thanks a lot for joining us. And remember, in Duval County, dreams begin here.